What's up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of Ahsoka Breaking the Jedi weekly review, part 5. I am joined by Nate. I know you guys can't see him because I don't know why he's not. I can't see him right now. If you guys are watching this in Plot Host,
I can see me.
Pro, I can't see him. He's I think he's wearing some sort of camo or something.
Oh wow, you're funny. You're funny. You're so funny. I thought you were serious.
I can't see him.
Just
So
call me John Cena.
So, but everyone else in the podcast and Spotify, you guys can hear him. He's right there. So, part 5, man. We're gonna jump right through it, man. So, part 5. I text Nate right away after I watched the episode, and I said that we didn't go 4-0. That's okay. But the funny thing is that there was a balance in there. That there were more things that it's not that necessarily we were wrong, but they didn't really show what we predicted. They went on another route, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they weren't going to show it on like part 6, because it seems like what we said was going to be in part 6 instead of part 5. Does that make sense? But there are things that we did get right. Again, it's about them riding the space whale. Like we said, they're going to ride the space whale. That's the only thing that makes sense to get to where they are. And I did say that, it's one of those things that's going to be like, we don't know where they're going to be heading, but let's just do it anyways. Exactly what the Chinese robot said. Do you know where they're going? She said, I don't know, but we're going to go find out, right? Essentially what I just said, right? And there was a lot of things that were kind of unanswered there, right? So let's get away from the parts where we said where we were right, and let's get into the ones where they just kind of added. This episode was kind of weird, so let's just get right into it. But first, I'm gonna say that we are not 4-0. We're neither 3-0. Where I would say this is more of a 3-0-1. It's more of a tie kind of thing, right? So we didn't get anything wrong, nor did we get a lot of it right. So I say it's 3-0-1. So, but let's dive into the elephant in the room, which is Anakin Skywalker. So Hayden Christensen is back again as Anakin Skywalker, which is what we saw in the last episode, which was great. He's back again. But I'm going to play the devil's advocate in here before we start analyzing this, Nate, and say, was this episode really necessary? A lot of people are praising this episode. It is a great episode. It's an amazing episode. Don't get me wrong. They didn't pull any punches, which was amazing. The transition with Darth Vader and all that stuff, and all that's amazing and all that. But was the episode necessary? Like, did you need to have that episode there? It's kind of like, if you really think about it, Nate, without that episode, it would have still ended the exact same way. Them going through the space whale and then hyperspacing out of there. Literally like Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark. You didn't need Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark. Everything would have still played the exact same way without Indiana Jones. Everything would have still played the exact same way without the whole world between worlds. What do you think? Was this episode necessary?
No.
Oh, okay. Present your argument before I present mine.
I think the only reason why I don't think it's not necessary for people who haven't watched the TV shows.
Right.
But it's necessary, the animated shows, but it's necessary for the people who have watched it.
Okay.
Because the people who've watched it already know about this character and what they've been through, as to where if you're somebody who's never seen the other shows, you're like, what is this? Why? They kind of explain it, but in reality, it's not really needed. It's just kind of filling Ahsoka's, like, I guess you could say, training in her head kind of arc. It's her final maturity kind of
Hmm.
episode. But if you never watched any of the other stuff, you're just kind of like, I get it, but I don't get it kind of thing.
Right.
Because they do their best in these kind of like flashback, kind of like replayings in her head to
Hmm.
explain what's going on. But still, if you're someone who hasn't watched any of the shows, you're just kind of like, okay.
Yeah, let's just call this episode what it is. It's just a fan service. That's what it is.
Exactly.
It's just a fan
exactly.
service. It's a fan service. I'm not hating the episode because I know it's a fan service. It feels like a fan service when you watch it. It's just for the fans because if for everyone who hasn't watched Rebel Ship, which it baffles my mind that you've gone to 5 episodes and you haven't seen Rebels yet to get caught up. If you haven't seen it and you like this character, it just baffles my mind. This is technically the first time that the actors playing their prospective character in the live action meeting.
Yeah.
This is the first time because Hayden Christensen never voiced Anakin in the Clone Wars nor Rebels. He never voiced Darth Vader too as well. And and the same thing with Rosario Dawson. She never voiced Ahsoka at all. So in live action, this is the first time that these two characters are meeting up, and this is the first time that these two actors in their respective characters are meeting up. So it does kind of symbolize both the old Star Wars fans kind of meeting up and agreeing on something along with the newer Star Wars fans. Does that make sense? Like Ahsoka basically representing the newer ones and Anakin's representing the older ones, kind of thing, right? There's a lot of things that they did in this episode that they did fantastic. The transition between Anakin and Darth Vader through smoke and the flashes of fire during a flashback on the Clone Wars, that was actually amazing. Like they flash him back in Anakin and Darth Vader, Anakin and Darth Vader,
Yeah,
Anakin
the
and Darth Vader, right?
transitions in this were flawless.
Yeah, it was definitely amazing. It seems like they paid majority of their budget of this show went to episode 5, right? Because even the space whales, the Purgles, the representation of the Purgles and all that stuff, the way it was just flowing, it was just very much flawless.
Also,
Yeah.
the one thing I really liked about this is that all the clone troopers were wearing real armor. It wasn't CGI, it was real. I was like,
Yeah.
oh my god, they actually put people in real suits. That's so
Yeah.
cool.
It was like real suits and everything. And, the only thing that felt kind of fake, which is, understandable, is the world between worlds. You can't really fucking make that real,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So that's the only thing. But everything else, I think every single Star Wars fans, whether you're old or new, you should definitely appreciate the fact that the practical effects, the amount of practical effects in this show was amazing. Everything from the sands, from the stormtroopers, this episode just had everything just to make it really flawless. And you know Dave pretty much really just wanted to do this episode. Like, you can tell he's the only one who would do this episode. He wrote the episode, he produced the episode, he directed the episode.
It's his
Like,
episode.
it's his. Like, that's his, right? I mean, in a kind of way, he should be the only one who should do it anyways.
Yeah.
Because if it's a whole Clone Wars thing, then yeah, man, then he should definitely do it. But again, the episode was very unnecessary. It's just very much a fan service. And then that's all it was. Because again, you can take out everything else in between that happened and just insert her just looking at the programs and then leaving. It's technically, this episode is a 10-minute episode.
It's basically all you'd have is, oh, where is she? I don't know. Wait. Let's check the water. Let's go in the water. Oh, there she is. We got her. We pull her out. Okay, where are we going? Oh, space whales. Let's go. 15 minutes later, the end.
Purgle, exactly, man. Everything else at the end. Yeah, it's a 15-minute episode or even 10-minute episode, man. That's what it is. But they inserted all these things, which doesn't make any sense. I'm it's this episode was so good. People are the comments I've been seeing and the praises I've been seeing, they are overlooking the fact that it doesn't make sense that Anakin is there and who is playing Anakin? Like what is that? There's nothing in Rebels nor in Clone Wars that the world between worlds there is an essence or represent a physical manifestation of the world between worlds. Does that make sense? Like, I know we have the physical manifestation of the dark side, the father, and then the light side. We went through that before, but this has nothing at all. Like, you would never see Anakin or this part or there's no explanation of what Anakin is. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, who was that?
To me, it's just kind of like it's the Force taking his, I guess, likeness to give her final training. I guess you want to call it that.
It makes no sense.
It's basically the same thing that happened to Luke in Episode 5. That wasn't really Darth Vader that was there. Who was that?
Yeah,
that's a representation of what Luke could become.
Like, I get it, but still, like, it just doesn't make any sense. At least in episode 5, there's an explanation that that's actually him and all that stuff. You know, that's a representation of who you're going to be. But this is just like inserted there out of nowhere. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's a bunch of trees in that planet. Why don't you just do the whole Luke thing?
Well, the same thing could be said with the whole. I know I'm going a little bit far out here, but the whole thing with, what was it, Episode 8, when Rey went into that black hole and she had that representation of what she was gonna see of herself, and she was trying to figure out who her parents were. That was her version. Everybody sees something different.
Yeah, everybody. I guess so. It's just that it just felt like, well, I was watching when I was watching it, you know, I try to analyze as much as possible, but again, the fact that the episode is pretty flawless at what it was supposed to do, which is a fan service, kind of overtook the whole fact that this episode made no sense and it was very unnecessary. Like, I had to watch it a second time and be like, yeah, this thing doesn't make any sense. Like, it's very much unnecessary. So, but it's still a nice episode, and you know, and Dave Filoni didn't segue the fact that we needed more ass shot of Hera.
Nah.
So, this why it's Ahsoka Tano, man. I'm telling you right now, man. There's a bunch of ass shot of Hera, man, which I don't blame him. I mean, everyone, you can see why Obi-Wan fell in love with Hera, right? Like, in real, if you guys don't know, Ewan McGregor was actually married to the actress that plays Hera. I forgot her name.
Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
There you go. She was also in Birds of Prey and along with Ewan McGregor and all that stuff. So I don't blame him, man. I mean, like, I see why, like, Obi-Wan's just like, yeah, the Force is strong with her, man. Then, like, I get it.
The Force is strong with that ass.
Yeah, man. Like I was watching it with my wife, just like, damn, that ass, man. I was like, I know, right? Like, that ass. But I know I think the episode is flawless. I mean, I have no notes for it. Again, like I said, that's why I said that our record is still 3-0-1, because we didn't technically get anything wrong, nor did we get everything right. It's just that episode was just inserted. If that episode wasn't there, I'm pretty sure, I'm still confident, I'm still about 80% sure that everything that we said will be in part 6.
Yeah, I'm thinking that if we don't see Thrawn in that episode, it will be the last 2 episodes. But I'm thinking it'll probably be in it at least close to halfway through the episode, at least for a little bit. If anything, just a shot or two, and then we'll really get more of him towards the end.
It'll still be a tease with Thrawn in there. If you look at it from the grander scale of things, Nate, if you really think about it, episode 1 to 4 wasn't really about Ahsoka at all. Does that make sense? It wasn't really about Ahsoka.
It's about finding Thrawn.
No, but it's not about the title character. Like, it wasn't about her story. Her story and her journey doesn't really start until this episode.
Yeah.
And then up to 8. Do you know what I mean? Because everybody else is left behind. Like, everybody else is left behind. The only one that's actually in that galaxy would be Balin, and what was his apprentice name? Shin,
I think.
Yeah, Shin, and then her and Hu Yang, and that's about it. Right?
Well, yeah, I guess you could think of. Oh, sorry, I don't know. I'm a little tired. It's been a long week. You can pretty much figure episodes 1 through 4 was a Rebel season 5.
Yeah.
And then this is Ahsoka.
Yeah, and this is like Ahsoka and everything else, right? So it's just kind of very odd. It's just that's what I just kind of noticed. I'm like, well, Ahsoka doesn't really start until episode 5 and down to 8, right? And then there is a hinkling feeling that, we talked about how does this fit into the grand scale of things in the timeline, right? And I did you touch on the fact that they might be stuck on that galaxy?
I can't remember if I said that. I mean, like, how are they going to get back? I mean, obviously there's that giant. Like I said, the giant ring thing is probably going to be used to put Thrawn ship in and send it back
to get them back. Yeah, but it kind of would make sense, and I'm still up for the death thing. I'm still up for death.
I know.
On the movie, they have to die in the movie. That's still my thing. But I'm kind of I still think that it's gonna, based on what we predicted the last episode that we did, I think it's still gonna happen that way. That probably Ahsoka's gonna be stuck in that galaxy, and the Mandalorian will have to actually go there and get her. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, maybe Thrawn comes back, but Ahsoka's stuck.
Yeah. Well, no, Thrawn will not be back. Ahsoka is stuck with Thrawn in that galaxy. That's how the movie would start, because Thrawn would be thrown back into canon.
Well, the movie or
in the
Mandalorian.
Movie. Yeah.
Like the second half of Mandalorian could be Thrawn coming back and be the setup for the movie.
Yeah, I feel like, Hera and everybody else, and I'm assuming that Sabine would be back too as well.
Yeah.
Into the Star Wars galaxy, and then they have no way of actually trying to get Ahsoka back, and then they reached out to the Mandalorian to actually help out with that.
Could be, yeah.
That could be it. But then there's still the question of, why are you seeking for the Mandalorian for help? Why not Luke?
Well, I mean, like I said, I heard that Luke might be in this, but I don't think he will. I really don't.
How is he going to be in this?
Especially at this point, like, if he's doing his thing, she's going to be way gone by then.
Yeah,
like way somewhere else,
It's kind of weird. How's Luke going to be in this? It's very odd. Especially with the de-aging and all that stuff.
And you can't keep putting Luke at the end of every season.
You can't keep doing that, man. Like, you can't keep doing. No, I understand. You can't keep doing that. It's just kind of weird how you're going to put Luke in this. I thought he was going to be in this episode. That would have made more sense.
No, I think Anakin made more sense for this.
Yeah.
But I did think it was funny because I can't remember. Never mind. When it pops in my head, I'll say it.
I don't have any notes for this episode, because this episode doesn't really tie into anything in this series. It's just, again, it's just a fan service. That's all it is. They did a pretty good job on the fan service. There's no notes that I could say that this episode will make this episode and the next episode confusing. Like, because it's separated from that. It's completely separated.
It's like its own series. Contained event.
Yeah. it's just completely separate. It's very much unnecessary, but you can't be mad. Sometimes when there's some things that are unnecessary, you'll be like, what the fuck, man? Why is this thing here? But this is like, this is so unnecessary, but I love it. You know what I mean? It's like completely unnecessary, but I love this thing. I guess the only question is this though, with all the fanfare that that Hayden Christensen is getting ever since Obi-Wan, which by the way, I watched Obi-Wan right after this. Fucking Obi-Wan's genius. Like you gotta have to watch it again. The brilliance of that series, man. You know, with the fanfare that he's been getting since Obi-Wan, the only question is, would you want an Anakin series? But where will that be placed?
Anakin got 6 movies, technically.
He got 6 movies, but he doesn't have a standalone movie because it almost hinted at the part where on this episode he goes, "Oh, I don't remember this war."
Right? Yeah,
Right?
because he wasn't there at the time. He was off, doing his own thing with Obi-Wan.
Exactly. He's like, "Oh, I don't remember this war." It's like, "Oh, this is the fall of Mandalore. We were already separated by then."
Yeah.
Right? So, are you going to like take that part and be like, "Oh, what the fuck was he doing during the fall of Mandalore?" But then
no,
you're just
they're in the fall of Mandalore. That was when Episode 3 was taking place.
right. Then I was just like, well, then I'm like, that doesn't make any sense because Episode 3 it was taking place and all that. And then even if you say that he wasn't there, the Clone War Attack of the Clones would have taken care of that timeline. Does that make sense? Like the main canon would have taken care of that timeline while why he was not there, right? He would have been at some point in time. So it's kind of hard to say, yeah, I want an Anakin series, but then you're like, where are you going to place that Anakin series? The only Anakin series that you could ever have is between age 8 and age 14, and that's it. And Hayden Christensen can't do that. He's too old for that. Because remember, from episode 1 to episode 2, what's the gap in there?
10 years.
There you go. And he was like, what, 8 years old?
I think he was 8 or 9.
8 or 9. Okay, so let's just say 8 or 9. And then when they met up, he was already
19.
Like 19. So like Hayden Christensen can't do teenager stuff. So it's kind of hard where to put that Anakin series at, unless you actually pick it out and say, and you go with the Star Killer line.
Yeah, you just make a Darth Vader show or a movie and have
you gotta have
you
have to do a Star Killer storyline, which they opted not to do and they don't want to do. So because they retconned the whole thing, right? But if people really want it, just look at that Force Unleashed. Force Unleashed 1 and 2. That is your Hayden Christensen storyline.
But you have to keep him dressed up as Darth Vader.
But you have to keep him dressed up as Darth Vader, but not necessarily through flashback. You can just have him as Anakin through flashback.
Doing other things.
Yeah,
more back flashbacks.
Yeah, just do like flashback stuff, and then you'll have him an Anakin suit and all that stuff, right? So, it's kind of hard, man, because I know that's what's gonna be the next discussion. Is like, do we need an Anakin series? But where are you gonna fucking place that Anakin series unless you pick it out from the Force Unleashed? That's all I'm saying. The only way that they can do it is through Force Unleashed.
You just really want a Force Unleashed TV show. I get it. Or movie.
Well, one, I really want a Force Unleashed TV show. Number 2, Disney pretty much fucked up because if people demand it, where are you going to place it? And I just kept saying right now, the only way that you're going to have Hayden Christensen back would be through the Force Unleashed storyline. Because there is no... Where are you going to put him? Like, if I were to ask you, where are you going to put him in the storyline? And then in the canon timeline? There's no fucking way. There's no fucking way. Like what? He's just gonna be walking around like the world between worlds and just like, yeah, this is a nice place.
Or have him show up as a Force ghost somewhere.
Yeah, like he just Force ghosting, like just fucking floating around everywhere. Like
scaring everybody. Boo!
It's just scaring her. Yeah, that's just dumb, man. So that's everything I'm saying is just within reason. I'm not saying things that's not out of reason. I'm just saying that's the way that it goes, right? So, but the only thing I can tell you right now, I'm like, I don't know if you have any notes, man. What do you have, man? Because I have no, I have nothing, man. I got nothing. This was flawless. It was just for the fans. So,
Well, I mean, I have kind of like my prediction of where the show can lead the future of Star Wars. Um, I was talking to a buddy of mine at work about it,
mhm.
and I was telling him how you were like, yeah, he wants everybody to die because they have to die, and he was agreeing with me that that doesn't have to be. But I think the one crucial person who has to die is
Mhm.
Grogu. I
Why
think
didn't you? Why didn't you tell him to listen to the podcast?
because he said he doesn't have time. He's a father with like 3 kids. He's like, nah, just whatever.
You put it in your ear when you're sleeping. There it
When
is.
you're sleeping, yeah, it's subliminal. It's subliminal. Listen to it.
It's all there.
But we were talking about like Grogu has to die. He's like, I agree with that because Grogu has kind of been originally that's what the Emperor quote unquote needs to be reborn.
Right.
So plus you would take this one thing that turned everybody nuts into Star Wars all over again, and you'd have him not necessarily have him to be like where he's butchered, but have him make a sacrifice or whatever for the greater good, and
Right.
then in that his body gets recovered by the first order or whatever and starts doing their cloning crap.
Right.
But I feel like that would kind of hit home and it would hit people hard
Mhm.
if Grogu were to be the one who dies. I mean, so I believe some more people should die, but I don't believe all of them.
Right.
Like in this episode, they showed a lot more of Jason Hera's son, kind of like in tune with the Force a bit. So he's someone that you could have show up later on in maybe another series or in the future or whatever.
Mhm.
And the other thing I was saying, the reason why I think Grogu's sacrifice would be significant, because maybe Grogu's sacrifice would be what kind of kickstarts Luke into deciding, okay, it's time to create his Jedi Order, which eventually fails.
Yeah.
Because maybe
Mm,
he felt like if Grogu would have been completely prepared, he wouldn't have died, so he decided to start training Jedi himself.
well, technically, he could have just died during Kylo Ren's burning of the school.
Yeah,
So,
but if you read the comics, he wasn't there.
well, yeah, obviously, but I'm just saying they could retcon that whole thing too as well.
They could, but there's that, and then the inevitable. That's the short term future. The long term future has to do with the space whales and going to other
Yeah.
galaxies.
The thing, yeah, because the thing about with Disney is that they like to retcon things because they can just go back and revisit it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? It gives them that flexibility, right? So when Disney retcons things, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's gone. It's just that they need the flexibility to actually go back to it when they're stuck in the corner.
yeah,
You know what I mean? So that's why I kept saying, like, yes, I want a Force Awaken TV series because now they backed themselves in the corner. If people demanded an Anakin series, the only way that you could do it is through the Force Awaken, the Force Unleashed storyline.
they still could because they still have
Yeah,
plenty of time. They could have it take place before Obi-Wan
yeah,
and
because like,
have Darth Vader just wrecking crap.
yeah, because like, look at it, man. There's a lot of demand for Sam Witwer. There's a lot of demand for Anakin. The only reasonable storyline is Force Unleashed, which, by the way, I don't know what Sam Witwer worked on. I just want to put it out there, man. What did he work on?
He was in Smallville. He
No,
played.
no, 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 no.
What?
On
What do you
this,
mean?
on this series, what did additional voice by Sam Witwer? Where?
Merrick. He played Merrick's voice.
He's still credited now.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's for the whole series. Maybe
What
not just the episode.
is it a goddamn Purgle too?
Could be. He's a voice actor. He's an
It's just,
actor and a voice actor.
it's just in the background. Just that.
You're a space whale.
It's like, all right, well, Merrick's already done, Sam, but we still need you. For what? Space whale. All right. He's gonna be a space whale, and yeah, Merrick. That the only thing I can talk about too as well is that Merrick. That's a useless character.
Another useless character.
I mean, if there is like a post-credit scene that they go back to, like Merrick just standing up and then pulls his fucking helmet off and is Sam Woodward, then yeah, then maybe. But as of right now, he's a useless fucking character. It's a distraction. It distracted us from the actual show itself because we were trying to find out for 2 episodes, 2 reviews of this series, who the fuck Merrick was.
He was a nobody.
He was a fucking nobody. But
as of right now, who knows? Well, you know what Disney's gonna do? They're gonna make a comic book and be like, "This is this character that nobody cares about anymore because he died in 2 seconds."
Fucking Disney, man. Fucking Disney. Man, this is a short review because I got nothing, man.
I still have more to my future Star Wars.
Okay, yeah, go ahead, man. So go ahead, man.
Well, I don't want to go too into it, but I think depending on what happens here on out from now until the end of the season and maybe into the future of Mandalorian, I think the space whales will be maybe another jumping off point for the future of Star Wars, meaning with episode 10, we'll call it, because there was a comic book, novels that Dark Horse did, which dealt with other creatures from another galaxy that I don't want to go too far into it just because I want to save it for later, but the gist of it is that if Rey's going to start a new Jedi Order, what are they going to have this Jedi Order's conflict be? What, something that is resistant to the Force, maybe from another galaxy invading this galaxy.
Yeah.
Like I said, Disney likes to recycle the non-canon stuff now, so we might see possibly the Yuzhong Vong come from another galaxy to be Rey's ultimate enemies, which
they did
probably what Disney is going to do, just because when they come up with something original, it usually sucks.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're gonna I think they are gonna go 2 ways to this. I think they can only go with the prequels with the old I say Old Republic.
Old and High Republic.
Yeah, Old and High Republic. They're going to go with
which they're technically doing with Acolyte. They're going with the High Republic era.
Yeah, they want to do that route. Or if they're going to move forward, I think they're going to play around with that one word from the Star Wars title, from Once Upon a Time from a galaxy far, far away. That one blip, that word and a half, a galaxy. I think they're going to play around with that and say that this is just a galaxy far, far away, right? Because we already know one galaxy far, far away, which is the Star Wars canon. But I think that they're going to move forward with more Star Wars from another a galaxy far, far away, away from the canon. Do you know what I mean? Because if they want newer fans and they don't want, and they also want to keep the old fans and they don't want to piss them off, the only way that they can do that and continue to make that money, the Star Wars money, is to explore other galaxies far, far away. So by saying a galaxy far, far away, this is just one of the galaxy far, far away. This is another galaxy far, far away. Does that make sense? Yeah, and then they can begin with a new trilogy there, which will be the most controversial thing ever, because they're going to renumber everything again. They're not gonna go with episode 10, 11, and 12, because if you go by 10, 11, and 12, that means that it's still in this galaxy far, far away. But if you go episode 1, you're in a different galaxy from another A galaxy far, far away, and technically you could do that, right?
I mean,
and I think that's the route that they're going to go with, just so that you can keep old fans and new fans without pissing off old fans of Star Wars. Does that make sense?
yeah, they can have their own little cluster, and the new people can have their own cluster.
Yeah, so now you're gonna have the George Lucas galaxy, and then you're gonna have the Disney galaxy.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that's what's gonna happen. When they said Jason was going to be the future of Star Wars moving forward, because there was report of that, I think that's probably what they meant, because he's young enough that he can be in a different galaxy. And Hera did say, "Oh, Jason's too small, too young to fly to another galaxy," but that doesn't necessarily mean that he's not going to. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, like, mom did defy orders by going through this mission, an unauthorized one. Who's to say
another
that
thing that was cool, is that they mentioned Leia basically in this episode.
Yeah. So I'm like,
cool.
who's to say that he's not gonna go through an authorized mission somewhere else, right? So although this episode is unnecessary, there's small little hints on what the future of Disney Star Wars would look like.
That's exactly what I was kind of getting at, because like I
Yeah.
said, like what you're saying, different galaxy. Well, this is they're going to a different galaxy now.
Yeah.
And apparently the Yuzhong Vong are from a different galaxy. So it's a good little way to set up how you're going to separate everything in the future.
But then again, what I said it still holds true. By killing off these characters, you're starting off from a different galaxy.
I mean,
see,
then episodes 7, 8, and 9 is still in that galaxy.
It's still within that galaxy, yes, and the movie is still within that galaxy. What I'm saying is
that the movie that comes out is in between 6 and 9.
But what I'm saying, that's correct. That's why I'm saying in the movie they all have to die. By killing them off, you left 7, 8, and 9 alone. It's standalone. It makes sense. Go ahead and start your new galaxy without all these other characters, without any other distraction at all. You don't have to wonder. You don't have to wonder where Ahsoka is. You don't have to wonder where the Mandalorian is. You don't have to wonder what happened to Hera, to Sabine. You don't have to wonder any of those. Everything in this George Lucas galaxy is intact. It makes sense. Start brand new on a new galaxy where Jason probably the only. They're gonna do the whole fucking Superman route in there. I can fucking feel it right now, man. They're gonna do the whole Superman route in there. They're gonna send him to another galaxy, along with fucking Rey, man.
They're all going.
Both of them are going, man.
But then again, you're saying that you're like, oh, whatever, they all die. But then again, they're still connected to the galaxy because of their past. So they're not starting over.
Which is a great representation of actually keeping old fans to the new ones. You see what I'm saying? Everything is all about representation with Disney.
You know what this is starting to sound like to me? It's starting to sound like Stargate.
They're gonna go fucking Stargate in this.
We're gonna have SG-1. We're gonna have Atlantis or whatever it was, or what was the other one? There's another one after that too, I think.
Yeah, because now by doing the Old Republic, you can still keep the old people, like the old Star Wars fans, by on the George Lucas galaxy, and go back and forth within the George Lucas galaxy and the Disney galaxy. You see what I'm saying? Because now they're starting over with a Disney galaxy, but then by doing Old Republic and High Republic, you're keeping them on the old galaxy too as well. So now you have old fans, new fans going back and forth, and the new and old. You see?
And you know what? Somebody's still gonna bitch about it.
And someone's still gonna be fucking bitching about it. But then their bitching doesn't really make any sense at that point, because this is a brand new galaxy now. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, they're covering their tracks, man.
I know, but there's gonna be people who be like, they should have just left it alone anyway. But there's still people like that right now.
Yeah, but they're gonna be like, we did leave it alone. It's a brand new galaxy. See what I'm saying? Like, Disney's covering their tracks. Like, this episode, although it makes no sense and unnecessary, it's just unraveling a lot of maybe future plans. You know what I mean? It's just unraveling a lot of them. So, because Hayden Christensen can't be playing Anakin all the time. Ewan McGregor can't be playing Obi-Wan all the time just for nostalgia wise. They have to move on. Disney has to move away from this, right? And that's the best way to go about doing that.
That's why I think truly when they finish the movie, that's kind of that movie's basically going to be the farewell to this galaxy, aside from the Rey sequel movies or whatever. But that's
Well, that's
that's further in the future, so that you don't have to
well,
interrupt anything in this era.
That's what makes my prediction makes more sense. Kill them off in this movie because now you don't have any attachment to this galaxy. You don't have to be like, oh, where's Ahsoka Tano fucking season 2 or season 3 or season 2 or season 3.
Yeah, but you can explain you. But the thing is, you can just explain them away instead of killing them. Why do you want people to die? That's what I don't get. It seems like you hate these people.
Because that means it opens up for revisiting, Nate. Do you see what I'm saying?
You don't have to revisit. It's that simple.
No, you don't.
All right, Lord. Okay, here's simple answer. Lord of the Rings. All the hobbits live happily ever after. You don't have to open the book again.
Yeah, but then
you know what? It leaves it open, but no one.
But then what happened? Then what happened though? They hired everyone else from the Hobbit to fucking come back again. It's revisiting those characters again. That's what I'm trying to tell you, Nate. By killing off these characters, you don't have to revisit them ever again.
You don't have to at all. Back to the Future. Look, they haven't made a single thing for Back to the Future, another movie, and you know what? Marty lives happily ever after.
What are you talking about? There's always been talks to rebooting that, and people have pushed back on it. They pushed back on it.
The person who's pushed back on it is the guy who created it because he said, "Nope, this is my story. That's it."
People have been pushing back on it. See, this is what I'm trying to tell you. But tell me one reason by not killing them off that people do not want to revisit this universe, this galaxy.
You can revisit any universe you want.
That's what I'm.
But that doesn't mean you have to kill anybody off. You can do it with anything.
Listen to what I'm trying to tell you.
I have
Disney does not want to revisit this galaxy again. If you are going to do that, you have to kill off those characters in order for no reason to revisit them. Obi-Wan is dead. You already did the Obi-Wan series. It's already been filled. Obi-Wan is dead. Anakin is dead. Luke is dead. Leia is dead. Everybody is dead. There is no reason for you to revisit this galaxy if everyone else in the Mandalorian universe is also dead. Because if one hint of one of them actually still alive that is not transferred over to the Disney galaxy, what they're trying to make, you will go, what happened during this part? Now you want to revisit that, and then there's going to be an uproar of fans who want to revisit Ahsoka again.
It sounds like you really want to revisit that.
No, I don't. No, that's what I'm trying to tell you. They don't want to revisit these characters again, ever. They already said we're done with the Anakin Skywalker storyline. 1 to 9
but yet they keep putting more into it.
That's what I said. From 1 to 9 is all Anakin. This galaxy is all about the Anakin saga. Everybody knew that. It's all about the Skywalker saga. Everybody already knew that, right? By killing off all the necessary characters that needs to be killed off, there's no revisiting this galaxy. There's no reason why you have to go back to this galaxy ever again. You're going to have to be forced into the new galaxy that Disney is going to be creating. The only thing that they're going to do is the old and the High Republic, which has no attachment to the old characters because it takes place thousands of years before these characters were ever created. You see what I'm saying? So technically, it's almost as if it's brand new within the old galaxy. There's no way that you can do an old Republic and High Republic and be like, oh, I wonder what's going to happen there. No, it fucking takes 1,000 years. By the time that episode 1 takes place, these people are already dead. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but that doesn't mean they have to die. They can die within
They have to die, Nate, in order for people not to revisit it. Okay,
that's stupid. That's dumb. You're just writing people off. That is dumb.
So you're telling me You're saying that it's dumb because it makes so much sense. So you're telling me right now, Nate,
No, I'm
if
telling
all
you
these
it's dumb because
if you're telling me right now that Thrawn and everybody else, Ahsoka and everyone, all those characters still
So
live.
you're saying Jason should die. So
No,
you're going against what you
no,
said before.
no.
You're saying he
Listen,
should die. No, no. If he
listen to
lives,
what I'm
no, that goes
listen to
against
what
what
I
you're
said.
saying.
No. You're forgetting what I said in the very beginning. Jason and Rey are in the next galaxy, right? Like I said, they're gonna do the whole fucking Superman route. They're just gonna send Jason over there, and he's gonna start off. That's why they said
But why can't anybody else go?
That's why they said that they're the future. That's why he said he's the future of it. He said he's the future of Star Wars moving forward. There's news about it. I'm not fucking lying. You can Google it right
I'm
now.
not saying that, but I'm saying
I
like,
know.
oh, if you keep
But
him
listen,
alive, then he has
but,
to have flashbacks of
but
everybody
listen,
else.
but listen to what I'm trying to tell you. Okay, are you telling me, with all honesty, if all these characters are still alive, you're not gonna say, "I wish there was a Ahsoka Tano like fucking season 2 or season 3"?
No, I don't need a, like, for instance,
Bullshit.
I don't need an Obi-Wan season 2. I don't need that.
Bullshit, man.
Nope.
That's horse shit.
Nope.
Okay, let's just say that you don't want that. Who's to say that you represent hundreds and thousands of people?
I don't.
You don't.
You're talking to me, asking how I feel.
No, I
And
understand
I'm
that.
trying to tell you, and you are saying that I am wrong. So I'm saying you're wrong.
No, I understand that. I understand. I'm talking to you personally. You don't want that, right? But I'm always trying to say the people would want to revisit it. I've been saying that people will want to revisit them. If you kill them off, people will not want to revisit them. You may not want to revisit them, but people will still want to revisit them. How much are people so hooked on Sam Witwer doing something for Star Wars? They want him to do something for Star Wars. Like all the time. All the fucking time. They want
But here's the simple answer to your question.
Hold on. They also want Ray Park to come back as Maul. All the fucking time.
You're just making a simple answer so difficult. You just say no. No means no.
No, this is not. No, they're not going to say no means no, because you know what talks? Fucking money talks.
Then why would they kill off characters if they want more money?
No, they're starting a new universe. That's where the money is. That's what I'm trying to tell you. By killing off these characters, they don't have to succumb to people's demands. Do you see what I'm trying to say? People are always wanting Maul. Fucking Maul. What Maul did? Maul. Fucking Ray Park is doing so well in cons right now because of Maul. And people wanted more Maul. Okay? I can go on and on. I can even go to Smallville. People wanted fucking Tom Welling to do Superman until the studio had to succumb to demands because there's money to it. By cutting them off, by killing them off, you don't have to, as a studio, you don't have to succumb to people's demands, because you can just say, that's on the old universe. They dead. This is a brand new one. These people are alive. Do you see what I'm saying? You don't want to succumb to mob rule.
You said, oh, but this goes back to what you said. But I want more Anakin. How are you going to do more Anakin? Oh, you go into the past.
That's basically, like I said before, if you want more Anakin, the only way that you can do is a Starkiller storyline, right? Which they retcon already. But if he's already dead and you already killed all of these characters, you don't have to go back there. See what I'm saying? The studio do not want to succumb to mob rule. That's the thing. Because if you have mob rule, well, fucking, it's called mob rule for a reason. The mob fucking wins all the fucking time. All the fucking time. Why do you think all these series are being made to Disney Plus? Do you think they just made it just because, like, yeah, you know, that kind of makes sense? No, it's because of mob fucking rule. People wanted more Rogue One. They gave you Andor. They should have given it to fucking thing, but the blind.
I mean, I don't know anybody who really wanted more Rogue One. I mean, we all got the picture. They just made it.
They wanted more Rogue One. People wanted more Rogue One. Who wanted more fucking Obi-Wan? People wanted more Obi-Wan.
That's funny because you're saying who wanted more Rogue One? Well, they made more. Well, you know what? The guy was dead and they still did something. So like I said, they can still go back and make more stuff.
Because they're still in this universe. Again, mob rule. If you say that this is the end of this galaxy, we're starting a brand new one, you can just go, we're not going to succumb with mob rule anymore because we have a brand new galaxy. Until that galaxy is made, Disney is bound to mob rule. They're bound to mob rule.
No, they're not.
They
can do whatever they want.
We already established the money is there.
Yeah,
right?
But they can choose not to and put their money somewhere else. They have the MCU.
We already said
they can put all the money into that.
We already established that the money is there. The money is in Star Wars, right? But they don't want to succumb to mob rule. In order to do that, you have to start a brand new universe. And then when mob rule goes, well, why can't you just do this and do that? Because that's on the George Lucas side. That's the George Lucas galaxy. We don't do that anymore. We do this galaxy now. You see that? You're being forced. Everybody's being forced into a new galaxy. That's all it is. That's why I keep saying it's necessary for these characters to die, because now you're not succumb to mob rule. So that's my take.
I think that's just a lazy cop out.
It's not a lazy cop-out, and if it is a lazy cop-out, it's a fucking genius cop-out, because now they don't have to do any more George Lucas stuff, and they don't have to come to people like, well, this doesn't feel like Star Wars anymore, or like what you said, like, oh, this doesn't feel like Star Wars with the music. They don't have to. They don't have to be bound to those criticism, because it's done. That galaxy is done. We're a brand new galaxy. We can fucking play any music we want. We have fucking like Cardi B playing fucking Star Wars, and they'll be like, oh, you don't like it because it's not Star Wars? Well, too bad. This is new galaxy. This is in George Lucas galaxy. We're not touching your galaxy. You see what I'm saying? It's you know it to be true. You feel it in your heart. You know it to be true. Okay. You know.
I'm just saying, if they all die, that is very lazy and very stupid.
I'm not saying that it's not lazy.
The only thing I'm saying is that I would prefer, me personally, okay, a few people die and then you just say, oh, they live happily ever after, and we don't need to see them ever again.
Yeah. Well, no, happily ever after doesn't really do anything. You've heard of Cinderella 2. You've heard of Pocahontas 2. They can't fucking leave happily ever after.
Let's just be honest. It's a Disney problem. It's nobody else's problem other than Disney. They should just give Disney back to George Lucas, and then he could just be like, all right, whatever Disney did doesn't matter anymore. So we're in a giant loop.
It's a Disney problem, but it's also a fan problem too, because we have to follow what Disney says. That's the thing. We have to follow what Disney says.
Technically, if you want to get technical, technically we don't, because just ask the people who watch Star Wars, the original Star Wars, the original 3 when they came out, and all they have is the original VHS tapes, and they will never watch anything other than those original VHS tapes.
Again,
because that's their Star Wars.
Exactly, it's their Star Wars. So by starting a new galaxy, you're not touching their Star Wars. This is our Star Wars now. This is Disney Star Wars now. New characters, new storyline that doesn't have to follow the blueprint of George Lucas. It doesn't have to follow any of those at all. They can have their own fresh new. This is like a fucking it's like an Elseworld. They're gonna start their own Elseworld. That's all it is. Because with Elseworld, they can say whatever they want in Elseworld. They can do whatever they want in Elseworld, and you can't say, "Well, that doesn't happen." Well, yeah, it doesn't happen. This is our world now.
No,
you know what I mean?
The only problem with that is if they do that and it's horrible and nobody continues to watch it after that, they wasted a lot of money.
That is, well, if big corporates, they have their own wheel on marketing team, and their marketing team is fucking brilliant. They will, as an old fan, you will succumb to it. No matter what.
I'm not saying I wouldn't watch it. I'm saying that if I watched it, and it just continued to be something bad, I probably would just give up on it and be like, well, I'll just stick to whatever and let everybody else do
this. It's hard to tell, because the old Star Wars fans are dying off, right? And there's new Star Wars fans, new galaxy, new everything. So essentially, they can do without us in the future, but now they need us right now, right? it's that's just the way it works, man. That's just the way it works. I preached about this already with comic books. Unless you tell the story correctly and you pass down information the way that you should pass down information, that's the only way that collecting comic books would ever live on properly. But if you let like all these people like hustling other people for the exclusive variant covers and all that stuff that makes no sense, and they're telling you it's worth a lot of money even though it's not, that's what's gonna be striving in the future. So that's just my take on it, man. But yeah, but that's my take on it. I mean, like this discussion should have been like after the whole series. This whole series.
Well, hey, we saved it.
We saved it already. But any more pointers, Nate? Do you have any more pointers?
Let's see. Pretty much covered everything. I really, like I said to you personally, I think this was some of Hayden Christensen's best acting. So kudos to you, Hayden. You did a good job.
I mean, what kind of acting, really? I mean, like he plays.
I mean, we'll put it this way. It wasn't George Lucas writing. We'll put it that way.
He plays Anakin Skywalker, which is emo, and like that's not real. I'm like, if you want to see his real acting, I mean, like watch Shattered Glass. I mean, like that was actually pretty cool. Shattered Glass was nice. So that's like real acting, though. Not much people know what Shattered Glass is. You know why? Because people fucking hated Hayden Christensen back then, man. And now he's being celebrated. The exact same people who hated him back then is celebrating now, which is just bandwagon people, man. That's just my take on it.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. But tell us what you guys think, man. Episode 6, man. Episode 6 next week's gonna be very interesting. Prediction on it. I still hold true to my prediction. It just didn't come true on episode 5, on part 5, because they just went off the rail and say we're just gonna do something that's unrelated and brilliant. So they did. I still hold true to my prediction. It's gonna happen on episode 6 now instead of episode 5. The Thrawn with the long hair, planet, and all that stuff. Listen to part 4 of our review, and then you'll see what my prediction is. What about you? What's your prediction on part 6?
Well, I don't know. I mean, we're obviously going to see them go to this place. I don't know how much we're going to see of Thrawn or Ezra.
Yeah.
Or if we're going to see one or the other, or, we might see one, we might not see the other one, or we might see both, or neither. But I'm thinking Thrawn will probably be shorter than Ezra, maybe, if we see him. Shorter. Yeah. You know what I meant. Like, not shorter in height, I mean length of him in the episode.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's really tough, but I really think it's just mainly going to be them getting to the planet and figuring out, where are we? That's it. It's going to be what do we do now? I don't know. Let's walk around. Let's explore. Indiana Jones episode.
But yeah, again, for me, I hold true to that. Any last words for the people, Nate?
Yes.
He's been thinking about this last word.
We are what they grow beyond.
Oh man. Again, mine is the exact same thing as always. You guys could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us. I appreciate that. We will see you guys on part 6. Peace out.